It's making mead crazy. CrAzY Mead Company. Hi, I'm Johnny Max. On the camera is the Queen Bee. And we're going to make some mead from history. Back in the 15th century, there was a book called La Ménagère de Paris, and it's a wife's household book. And in there it has a recipe for a Brochet, which is a burnt honey mead. So we're going to burn down some wood, get us a good bed of coals here. We don't have a cauldron, but we have a big cast iron pot. And we're going to put 3 pounds of honey in it, clover honey, and we're going to burn it. We're going to cook it down until it bubbles with black steam. That's what it said. It said, and keep it on the fire until it quits rising. Then add a little bit of water and dissolve the honey into the water and cook it down. Then we will pitch our yeast. It said you can pitch leaven of bread or leaven of beer. They didn't understand what yeast was, but you could pitch beer yeast, which is what we're going to be doing essentially. We're going to let this burn down until we get a good bed of coals, and then we'll be right back. Alright, I already got the pot hot. I'm going to start pouring my honey into it. Oh man. Now it said you're supposed to see when the bubbles bust black steam. So we're going to have to heat this honey up, man. Let's finally cool the pot. Looks like about 3 pounds. This was a 4-pound container. Okay, it says it will rise up. So see how it's rising up in bubbles? Trying to boil over. You have to stir it or it will. It says continue to do this until it quits rising up. Now it says it's going to be puffs of black steam. I'm not seeing it yet. And this is a smaller pot. They use a huge cauldron. Alright, it's starting to, you can see it's starting to darken. Now I was going to add toasted oak chips a little bit to give it a smoke flavor, but since it's on the fire and there's actually bits of ash flowing up into it in the wind and going in it, so I think I'm going to just see what happens as far as the smoke flavor. I haven't really seen the black steam come off yet. I've seen a lot of steam come out of it. It's getting darker now. Woo, the heat, my eyes are watering. I need a longer spoon. Alright, I did put some wood on there to bring the fire up. And man, it's getting dark quick. And the smoke coming out of it is getting blacker. But it is still rising. It says it'll quit rising. You do this till it quits rising. Man, look at the color. See how dark that's getting already? I did taste some on the spoon a while ago, and it was a totally different taste. It was a more richer caramelly honey flavor. Never tasted anything like it. Alright, well you can see it's getting real dark now. Zoom in on it. It's getting very dark. But it's still bubbling and rising. So according to the book from the 1500s, do it till it quits rising. So I'm thinking we're going to have nothing left in the honey but sugar. We will be getting all of the liquid moisture out of it. And then we're going to add 3 quarts of water, and I'm not sure how to do that without it. I don't know what happens when you add water to something that's 600 degrees or 400 degrees.
It evaporates.
It might be an explosion of steam. I don't want to get a steam burn. We'll find out in a minute. Man, I don't know how dark it's going to get, but it's still bubbling and rising. And I'm looking at the bubbles coming up there, like they got black smoke in them, but I'm not seeing it when they pop as much. But I'm going to keep on, keep cooking it down until it quits rising and bubbling. That's what it said. Look at the spoon, how dark and thick it is now. I mean, how dark it is. I mean, it's just black almost. Medieval drink. Like I said, CrAzY Mead Company, making mead crazy. All right, you can see it's still rising, but look how dark. Let's get it on the spoon. I mean, it is dark. I'm tempted. Everything tells me to stop boiling it down. Look how dark it is. But it's still rising. And so, as per the medieval recipe, Queen, how long have we been boiling it? About 45 minutes, you think?
At least.
At least. All right, it's still bubbly, but the Queen tasted it and said it tastes burnt. So I'm going to add water, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. Ready? Good. No explosion. It's black, man. Look at it. Wait, look. Ew.
Doesn't look like it's gonna make a mead to me.
It looks medieval. Now we got to boil it. I'm going to add another quart and then boil a quart off of it. You boil it, you reduce it by a third after you add the water. All right, we got a roaring fire going again, and the honey's almost all dissolved now. Look how dark it is. We had it covered, and we brought it in here. We set it on the stove, and we let it cool down. It's still a little bit warm, and if it feels warm to your touch, it means it's more than 100 degrees, so you don't want to put your yeast in it. But we smelled it, and we tried to figure out what it smelled like, and we finally figured it out. It smells like roasted marshmallows, like when you roast them over an open fire. I got a sanitized gallon jug that had cheap wine in it at one time. Sanitized my funnel. Now I'm going to make a mess trying to pour it into it, I'm afraid. Alright, we cleaned up the mess. Now I'm going to try and do it without making a mess, as per the instructions of the Queen. But I don't know how I can. Look at how dark it is. Man, it smells just like roasted marshmallows. Perfect. Alright, now I have an airlock that I'd sanitized and put Odophor in. And I'm going to put it in there and seal it up. Now I'm not pitching the yeast yet because, the cork's too big, need a smaller cork. I'm not pitching the yeast yet because it's still a little bit warm. I'm going to put it in an ice bath, cool it down, and I'll pitch my yeast. But for right now, and I'm going to put it in an ice bath in the sink. Then I'm going to pitch a dry champagne yeast and hope fermentation kicks off and it finishes out. And I'll probably put some yeast nutrients in it, some diammonium phosphate and Fermaid K or Y yeast nutrients. Alright, that's it. Try it at home. This is a medieval burnt mead. It's a Brochet. This has been Johnny Max, the Queen on the camera from CrAzY Mead Company.